What's up YouTube, how you doing? This is Mr. Tiebox123 and in this video I'm bringing you my full review of this, the Sony Xperia U. Now, as you guys know, I brought you the unboxing of the Xperia U just a couple of weeks ago, and we did the unboxing and the full review of the Sony Xperia S just a couple of months ago. Now, the Xperia U really is the baby brother or baby sister to the Xperia S. Now, Sony have decided to go down the road of creating a few different handsets in the same design and mould. So they've got the Xperia U, S and also the P, much the same as HTC have done with their 1S, V and P. Now, with the Sony Xperia U, this is actually a much smaller phone than the Xperia S. This has only got a 3.5-inch screen. Now, what that actually means really is that this phone would be an absolutely ideal candidate for either children or maybe women that have got quite small hands. One thing I definitely would say is that the keyboard on this phone is actually quite small, so if you have got quite big and cumbersome fingers, you're going to have a bit of a job with the tiny keyboard on the Xperia U. Now, this phone is actually a fantastic phone in terms of value for money. The reason for that is you can actually pick this up for about £180 off contract here in the UK, and again you can pick that up in the US for about $260. So a really fantastic phone in terms of the functions that it gives you, and also the fact that it's an absolutely fantastic build quality, as with all the Xperia range of phones. Now let's just take a little bit of a look around the hardware itself. On the front, like I say, we've got that 3.5-inch screen, and that's a 480p screen in terms of pixels. On the front of the phone, we've got a VGA camera, along with a nice little light bar strip, which you can actually change the colour of in the theme settings so it matches in on the wallpaper of the actual phone itself. There's a whole range of colours in there, going from pink to purple to white to gold. So nice that you can actually interchange the colour of that bar. That also flashes up when you get a notification. Now, on the bottom of the phone, we've got a small little plastic cap, which again you can actually change for multiple colours, and again there's a whole range of colours out there which you can actually put on it. Now, on the right hand side of the phone, we've got the standby or the power on off button, we've got a volume up down button, and we've also got a shortcut button to the camera. Now, the buttons themselves have got a similar finish to the back of the phone, which is almost a kind of rubbery sort of matte finish, and they're actually got a very good feedback to them, and they feel extremely defined when you press the buttons. On the left hand side of the phone, we've simply got the micro USB socket, and then on the top of the phone we've got the noise cancelling microphone along with the 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, on the bottom of the phone we haven't got anything at all other than the microphone. Now, if we work our way around to the back, we've got a LED flash along with a 5-megapixel camera. Now, the 5-megapixel camera does a reasonable job of taking photos, nothing in comparison to those much higher end phones like the S3, the 1X and the 4S, but still does a relatively good job, and obviously Sony always make fantastic sensors. Now, also on the back here we've got the loudspeaker, and there is actually an option in the phone to kind of boost the speaker, if you like, to make it a little bit louder, and I've got to say the actual loudspeaker really does work extremely well, gives a good volume and also a good clarity and definition to the sound as well. I was very impressed with the loudspeaker on this tiny little phone. Now, in terms of design and build quality, like I say, it's pretty much exactly the same in terms of design as the Xperia S, and I think the Xperia S not only has a really nice looking design to it, I love the kind of flat front that you get on it, but it also has extremely good build quality, and they haven't moved away from that in this more budget end phone, the Xperia U. So nice that Sony have kept with that good build quality and consistent design as well. Now in terms of the operating system, it runs Gingerbread, that's Android version 2.3. There is a planned upgrade for Ice Cream Sandwich, and in fact the update for the Xperia S for Ice Cream Sandwich has already come out, so let's hope that the upgrade for the Xperia U is not that far away in the distance in terms of being able to do that upgrade. Now Sony actually put their own UI tweak or their own skin over the operating system called Timescape, and it's actually a completely non-intrusive UI, and it's very, very nice to use, very clean, and also gives a nice kind of smooth and decent interaction to the user. Now with that Timescape skin as well, you also get the ability to have a whole load of little Timescape kind of plugins or applications if you like. There's a Timescape application itself, and within that application you can add a whole bunch of social streams in there to centralize your streams into one place, and Sony actually have done quite a nice job in the way that they actually present that to the user. There's one for YouTube, there's one for Foursquare, Twitter, Facebook, all the kind of things that you'd expect, and you can add to that if you go to the Google Play Store as well. There is a little bit of bloatware, you do get McAfee something or other with this phone. I've not even looked into it, but you can actually remove that fairly quickly by just going into the applications settings menu and just removing that out completely, which is exactly what I did as soon as I saw it. Now in terms of the actual specifications, it comes with a dual core 1 GHz processor, and on this kind of tiny little phone it actually gives some very, very decent performance. You will notice that if you do go to some kind of really bloaty pages, then you do get a bit of a lag in there when trying to actually load the full screen and double tap to actually zoom in on text and maybe pan and scale your way around that. But other than that, it actually performs extremely well, again considering that this is a very low budget phone and also has just got that dual core 1 GHz processor. Now in terms of the actual screen, the screen itself is actually a very, very nice screen. It's an LED backlit screen, 480p like I say, and it actually gives off some very, very nice colours, good contrast, good saturation, and also because of the Bravia engine that runs it, gives some very, very decent blacks as well, making your videos and photos look extremely nice and vivid on the screen. One thing I really didn't like about this particular small screen is there doesn't seem to be any kind of coating on the screen in order to help prevent kind of grease and smudges, and this phone really does smudge up very quickly, and even if you wipe it on your sleeve or on your trousers, it doesn't seem to get rid of it very well. Now I don't know if that's the kind of glass they've used or if they haven't got any coating on it, but it just seems like that is slightly lacking on this particular screen. Viewing angles, as you would expect from Sony, are extremely good, although I'm never quite sure why people talk about it, because generally you're going to be looking at your phone straight on and not holding it sideways, but people are interested and they're actually very good on this extremely small little screen on the Xperia U. Another thing that I didn't particularly like about the screen is if you catch it in the right light, you can see the dots of the digitizer grid, which is not particularly fantastic and a little bit off-putting as well. I've only seen that once before on the HP touchpad, and again that was a little irritating on there. But in normal lighting you don't see it at all, so it's not too much of an issue, but like I say, under specific lighting you really can see it and it is a little bit off-putting. Now in terms of battery power, this little thing really does pack a punch with the battery. It's got a 1320 milliamp hour battery, and I found that I can get well over a day's usage with actually quite hard, heavy usage. So they've really done a good job with the power utilization and optimization of that dual core 1 GHz processor in this phone. So very impressed with the battery life. If you're a light user, I would imagine that you might actually be able to push it to maybe 2 or even 3 days without recharging the device, which I think is absolutely fantastic considering the budget end price tag that this particular Xperia U has. Now, what's my overall opinion of the Xperia U? I think in terms of value for money, I don't think there's many phones out there that can actually compete for the same value that you're getting with the Xperia U. You get that fantastic build quality of the Xperia range, you get fantastic design, it really does look extremely nice, and overall you get a great user experience in terms of performance, the screen, the sound, and pretty much most things about this small little phone. So overall, for the price, I would highly recommend it. if you're looking for outstanding performance and all of the kind of top end features that you'd expect to see on an S3 or a 4S or a HTC One X, then you're not going to get that on this phone. But it does come extremely close for probably around a third of the price. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Please do hit that thumbs up button. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.